This is Blender. Let's make a low poly vehicle. I'm going to click on General. I like to hide the light and the camera, and here's my cube right here. So let's start with scaling it. The X can remain 1. Y we will want a 2 in there, and 0.7 for Z. And then let's move it up to the top quadrant, so 2 and a 1 to push it over some. So this is a chunk of the body of the car. Let's give it a wheel well, add mesh cylinder. Right? Now for this cylinder, we're only going to need 10 vertices. That will be plenty. And then we do need to rotate this 90 degrees onto its side. Okay? Let me kind of get it up over here. Make sure you're aware these are the numbers so you can always kind of tell where I am at number-wise. I'm going to shrink this down. That looks too small. Let me zoom in here. Go back to select mode, and let's take a look at the scale. 0.85 maybe. We need a bit bigger. Yeah, that's looking better. And then for Z, we're going to mush it in some for the wheel well. The location, we're close here. Let me see, straight on. We want it centered. Centering should be a 2. Yep, that looks right. And then a 1.6 maybe for Z. For X, yeah, that's enough space there. And 0.45 to push it down. Yep, that looks perfect. So now we're going to want to have a main color for our vehicle, actually. I'm going to click on the vehicle, and I was liking, or thinking, I guess, of a glossy color, and a color I've really been using a lot as of late, and I think it's a good car color. Of course, use whatever you want, is 214FC6 for the hex code here, and then maybe a 0.6 on roughness. And this is a glossy material. I'm going to call this main, okay? And I guess we can, and let's apply it. You do want to apply it to the wheel well as well, because otherwise, well, you'll see. So now with those both applied, I'm going to click on the main body of the car. I'm going to add a modifier, and I'm going to add a Boolean. And the Boolean modifier right here, what it's looking for is intersections, well, a difference. It's a true-false modifier. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the cylinder here, and I'm going to hit apply. It's going to check for wherever they intersect, and where they do, well, you'll see, it's removing that space. Okay. Let me edit undo because we're actually now going to use this as the wheel of our vehicle. So let's go ahead and head back to, well, let's first give it its own color so we can identify it, tire. And then base color, we just want something dark. Maybe 26, 26, 26. 0.0, 0.2 for this. Roughness, we're gonna say 0.4 maybe. And then let's go ahead and I'm just gonna go into edit mode, select all, sign it that, back into object mode. We can delete main. All right, now for the tire, let's start changing up the size. It's going to be very similar, but a bit smaller. I'm going to do, let's see, 0.77 maybe. Roughly 10% smaller is what I'm thinking. That's where 0.77 is coming from. And maybe at 0.37 here. Take a look from the top. We do want it to stick out just a bit. Right? So let's see, location-wise. Let's just make these easy to see. There we go, there we go, there we go. And let's look from the front, and that's perfect. And it's sticking out just a bit, which is exactly what we are wanting. All right, let's go into edit mode now. In edit mode, you want to go face mode and click on this front face. And we will be doing face inset, and I'm going to push in. That's way too much. Let's do 0.25. Yep, that's perfect. And then we're going to go ahead and extrude the region. I'm going to push back. Negative 0.1 is sufficient. Let's create a material now for our hubcap. So I'm headed to materials, new. I'm just going to call it hub. And let's make a shiny material. So for that, I'm going to use a mix shader. And what's going to be involved in my mix shader is going to be a diffuse and then glossy. Now, the roughness here, it's going to be 0.2 for the diffuse. A silver that I really like is 90, 90, 90. And then for glossy, the roughness will be 0. Glossy, the roughness will be 0. I'm switching this to sharp, and the color again will be 90, 90, 90. Enter. And that is looking good. Let's make sure to assign it. And now I'm going to go ahead and hit face inset again to create the hub cap, I guess. 0.4 is awesome. And let me pull this out. Let's do 0.5. Oops, 0.05 maybe. There we are. And let me go to select. I'm now going to select every other one. I'm holding shift so I can select these faces. And I'm going to go now and do mesh and delete faces. And now we have a hubcap. I'm also going to delete the back of the tire, mesh, delete face. Perfect. Let's head back into object mode. Let's head back into object mode. I'm going to go ahead and click on the tire first and then the vehicle, because we're going to have them joined, object join. Now with them joined, we're going to set up a mirror to create the other parts of the car. I'm going to notice my 3D cursor is right here. I'm going to set origin to 3D cursor. With that in place, I can now use a modifier, a mirror modifier. Here, boom. That's X, that's Y. And we have a bunch of a car suddenly. Let's now head into edit mode. I'm going to use edge select and just select this edge here and this one. Let's go ahead now and do edge subdivide. Perfect. And now let's make the roof. I need to go into face select. Make sure clipping is on in your mirror modifier. And then I'm going to select this face and then I'm going to go ahead and extrude. 1.6 is perfect for this type of animation. And now let's go ahead and scale it. I'm going to scale it way down to 0.3, 0.3, 0.3. Gives it a really fun look, whimsical. All right, that is awesome. Let's go ahead now and work on the headlights and license plate. To do that, I'm in face select still. I'm clicking on this front face. And then I'm going to go edge and subdivide. And perfect. Two subdivisions is what we need. And now let's select these bottom three for the bumper. I'm going to do mesh, duplicate, and click immediately. So it is there, we just can't see it yet. I'm now going to move it down. Yeah, -0.2 is awesome. And then also, I'm going to pull it out a bit. And 0.1 is great for that. Okay, let's go work on our hubcap now. So I'm our hubcap. Speaking of which, let's give this its color, and it's going to have that shiny color that the hubcap does. All right, now let's work on our headlight. So let me select these two now. All right, and then I'm going to do the same thing, mesh, duplicate, and click right away. I'm now going to move them over a bit. And 0.1, just like the bumper, is good. Okay, I'm going to now mush this down some. Yeah, 0.9 should be great. And then actually do it this way as well. .7 I did, and now I'm going to need to move this back out. 0.2 back out. Okay. I'm going to push it down a bit more, and we're good on the headlight. -0.05. That is perfect. So let's go ahead and give this a color too. And new, I'm going to just call this yellow because it will be, well, shockingly yellow. It's going to be an emission color. which, well, emits light. I was looking for a headlight. Let's see, FFF777. And let's assign that. Okay, and now let's work on a license plate. So for this, I'm going to do... For this, I'm just going to do a mesh and duplicate again. Click down right away. I'm going to resize it for the plate. Boop. So yeah, that's fine. 0.7. Now let's do a European style one. 0.6 is great. And then resize it inward. 0.8 is great. Oops, 0.8. Alright, perfect. And then the license plate, I'm just going to give it an off-white color. Boom. And now we have our plate. Okay, so let's go ahead and start working on extruding these. So we need, actually let's take front view again. I'm going to select, I'm holding shift, this face, and our bumper. Okay, I'm going to hit X, and now I'm going to go to extrude, and oops, I unclicked, undo, extrude, and then extrude along normals. I'm going to click and pull. And for this, 0.2, let's do 0.15. Nope, 0.2 it is. Okay. And now we want to do select, and we want select more, because now we're going to move all of these forward. And I'm going to move them forward 0.12. I'm going to move them forward 0.1. Great. Now for our license plate, we should extrude it as well, just not as much. So let me go into select mode, grab just the plate, and then I'm going to go ahead and extrude it. There we are, but negative 0.04 maybe, negative 0.02. Just have it stick out a bit for a plate. Perfect. All right. Now let's work on the door handle and the rear view mirrors. So object mode, and I'm going to go ahead and look at some colors here. For the door handle, I'm going to do add mesh cube, and then I'm going to pull this guy out. It's going to be huge. Okay. And that is fine. Let's take a look here. I'm going to shrink it way down. Obviously, it will be a door handle. So I'm not too worried about location right now, but scale-wise, I'm thinking 0.2 will be just fine. 0.2 and 0.06 should be good. Okay, and then location, well, we need it up at the car over. So what was working for me? Let's see, 1.81, I'm thinking 0.5 and 0.47. And actually, before I do the X, let me go back into edit mode. And in edit mode, I'm going to be in face select. I'm going to click on this face, and I'm going to scale it super far down. So 0.1, 0.1, 0.1. Great. And head back into object mode towards vehicle. And .81 is looking awesome. Okay, so now we have a door handle. Let's make sure I want it shiny also. So I'm going to go ahead and apply that hub color. Now I'm going to do an object, duplicate objects, and I'm going to pull it over here. This is going to turn into our mirror. Okay, let me take a look at the, I can even call it mirror if I want. All right, let's take a look at our numbers here. For the mirror, that's going to be fine. We're definitely going to want this way small because this is going to be the support structure. So 0.02, 0.025 for both of those. I'm going to want to move this up towards the edge here. Let's see, yeah, 1.85 and then 1.9 just to make that even. And 0.66. Let's take a look. That is looking good. Yeah, perfect. All right. So now what we're going to do is head into edit mode. And again, this is just the base of our mirror. So I'm going to grab this and I'm going to go ahead and extrude. So clicking on extrude and just pulling. And I'm still extrude on normals. And I'm going to extrude this out -0.0. -0.3 is what I was hoping for there. And yep, that looks awesome. And let's actually switch this up to extrude region. Let me pull that up to, yep, 0.03. That is awesome. And then I'm actually going to increase the size of this guy. So the scale increase, I'm thinking actually a full 3 maybe. Let's make sure that's close for comfort. And yeah, let's do a 2 times increase. So now let's go ahead and grab this. Grab this right here. We're going to extrude. And maybe 0.25 for the size of the vehicle. We will want it somewhat large. And then let me click on this side. And again, it's going to be an extrusion and a 0.25. Perfect. And now let's go ahead and head back into object mode. We want to object apply the scale of this because we're about to inset the mirror portion. So now with the scale applied, I can click on, let me first select both faces and then just face inset. I'm going to push in. Okay, make sure if you're having issues, you might need to turn boundary on or off. 0.02 was what I was thinking, which is great. And then let's go ahead and use extrude again and push in on this. And -0.02 is awesome. Let's create kind of a window or a glassy color. I'm going to plus new. I'm just going to call this window. And then for my window, let's see. I was thinking a color 555 C66. And you would want this. Yeah, let's do 0.2. Roughness 0.4. And let's hit assign. And then let's go back into object mode. Let's take a look. This is awesome. Let's go ahead, take a look at my hub here. So this is pretty shiny. It's up to you, but I'm going to turn this down maybe a 0.2 to make it more, to make it match the outside a bit more, the rest of the vehicle. This is great. So these next few steps, we're going to be making a car out of it, but this is also where you could take it and go make a truck and things of that nature. You should definitely check out some of my other tutorials if you're interested in that. With that being said, let's actually add some detailing to our lights here. Half of the light, right? Let's make it actually an emergency light. Let me see if, yeah, we can loop cut. I'm going to loop cut it here, and then I'm going to use face. And I'm just going to select all of this. And then I'm going to go down here. And now I'm just going to add an orange color. Plus, new, orange. And then I want this to be an emission color. The orange I was liking is FFBF44. Alright, and let's assign that. Awesome. That's fun. Alright. Now, heading back into object mode. This is looking awesome. All right, with the base of our car laid out and ready to rock, let's make our sports car. So, first thing we'll be doing here, let me click on it, and I need to apply my mirrors. which one's this? So I want to just apply Y right now. So I'm going to hit apply, and then I'm going to add back my mirror. Boom, and have it be X. That's perfect. And now let's go into edit mode. So we need the window pushed back. If you look at any sports car, it has a longer hood. So I'm gonna use face select and just push. I'm pushing way back. Yeah, right at -1. Sounds good. Okay, and now let me go ahead and go back into object mode, grab my mirror, and pull it forward as well. -1. And the door handle. We'll do 1.1 on that. We can do even a little more. Right about there, so -0.85 for my door handles. Great. All right, now clicking on this, our car again, and heading into edit mode. With that pulled back, we want to pull the back window back. So let me click here, and I'm just going to yank right about here. So yeah, -0.5 would be good. And then I'm actually going to have it dip in a bit more. So let me get the line select here. I'm going to push in here. 0.25 is great. Okay, so this is looking more sporty already. Let's go ahead and select our back panel here, and I'm going to do mesh and duplicate. I'm going to click right away, and now that I've clicked, I'm going to mush. Yeah, 0.25 is great. And now let's pull it back. This is going to be a bit of a spoiler. Right to the edge here. Doesn't need to be, yeah, that's good. And let's actually have it start off thinner than this. So I did 0.3 originally, but I'm going to shrink it down even more. And the second one, I'm going down to 0.65. Great. And let's go ahead and do an extrude. So I'm going to just pull right up, and 0.3 is what I'm thinking. Yes, that looks great. And now with it at 0.3, I am going to scale it larger. So it kind of fans out, but only on the y-axis. And 1.5, yeah, I like the more dramatic. Let's do 1.7. And now I'm just going to push back more. -0.2 maybe? Maybe we should stick to -0.15. There we are. So now we have a bit of a spoiler, which is great, looking sportier as we go. Okay. So let me zoom out. I am now going to shrink down the front of the car a bit. They have, old muscle cars always had smaller fronts of their cars and fanned out to larger in the back. So I just used select, and I selected all of this. I am going to use the proportional editing tool to shrink this down, because what I'm going to do, and let me make sure, you do want clipping enabled. I'm going to go, and yeah, 0.8 is looking great. Let's check out. I like 0.75, so 0.75 it is. Okay, I'm going to turn off proportional editing, and now I'm going to add a bit of a grill here. So I'm going to click on Y. Let me zoom in. Use my select tool. I'm going to select actually just the blue panes right here, and then I'm going to do edge, subdivide, and number of cuts. Let's see, 5 or even 6, depending on what you're thinking. All right, and with those all cut, I'm gonna click on this, and I'm gonna do select, loop, edge loop, and notice how it is selecting all of that. I'm gonna hold Alt on my keyboard, okay? So now I'm holding Alt. On a Mac, it would be Alt, it would be Option. So now I'm holding Alt and Shift to make this work. So I can select these lines as I am, right? And then I'm gonna apply the hubcap color to them. Apply, okay? And now I'm going to have them extrude just a tiny bit. And let me just turn here. Ooh. And pull. 0.03. And let's see if we can grab the sides of these by doing select. More. Awesome. And let's apply the color to the new grill we got. Great. So now with that, let's go ahead and make the hood have an intake on it. So I'm gonna take a look at this hood right here. I'm gonna go ahead and do edge, and I'm clicking on this edge and this edge, because it's now, this edge has just already been subdivided. Oh, so actually all I need is this edge, and I'm gonna do edge, subdivide, and let's give 4 a shot. Boom. And now let me select, I want it going pretty close to the end. So I'm gonna take this one, and now I'm gonna hold shift and go with that guy. And we're gonna do a vertex connect path. Perfect. And now let's select this face, and we're gonna go with an extrude. I'm just gonna pull up, take a look at the front here. Yeah. 0.2 it is. Okay. Now I'm gonna make sure though, I'm gonna go back to lines real quick, and you want this to dip down just a bit. Negative 0.05. Fine, negative 0.06. Okay, and it dips down a bit. Great. Let me make sure I do edit object, object apply scale, and now I'm headed back into edit. Ooh, let's do mesh and duplicate. I'm gonna click down right away, and then let's resize our duplicated mesh. Whoop. And yeah, 0.5, and 0.5 is awesome. And then we're gonna go ahead and extrude. And 0.25 is great for that. And then it's a big air intake. Let's click here, and I'm gonna go ahead and do a face inset. And let me take off boundary, and let's take out 0.1. Nah, that's way too small. Whoop. 0.05. 0.06 it is, and then let me push in. We could even go further back, like a -1. And that's looking awesome. And I'm gonna do, while there, I'm gonna do a select more. And it looks like, yeah, we got the inside of this. So I'm gonna make it, I'll give it the orange from our blinker. Sign. Yeah, that's looking good. Okay. And then I'm gonna give the outside of it. Let's see if a silver chromish color, right, from our hubcaps. Cool. Awesome. Okay. And is my license plate? Yep, it's still good. So all that's left is the windows. And actually, let me change up this color. We're gonna have a red sports car. Something more like that. This is a really shiny. So actually on the hubcaps, Let's go with maybe a 0.01 there. All right. So, and we have our red sports car looking great. Let's do windows. I'm going to go ahead and click on the front window and then the back window. And since we've already deleted, oh, just kidding. We need to delete these right here. So I'm going to select all of them. And then I need to do mesh and delete faces. Those will mess us up otherwise. Make sure you have clipping on here as well. All right, now let me select the front and the back here. And I'm going to do a face inset. And I'm thinking a 0.1 maybe. We could do smaller. 0.1 is looking good. And then let's go ahead and extrude along normals. And that will push in. Again, make sure you have clipping enabled. 0.05 is what I was going with there. Okay. And so for the side, we have a few options how we want to do windows. I'm going to go with, I'm going to take this point and I'm going to go straight down from it so we can do a little back section as a window. So I'm going to use the knife tool. I'm going to click on that vertex and get it straight, and I hit enter. Okay, and now, so actually, this edge is going to be problematic. I know. I'm going to go ahead and click on this face. I'm going to hold shift and click on this face, and I'm going to do mesh dissolve faces. Okay, let me just check. Yep, that's what we expect. No worries though. I'm going to go vertex mode here, click on X, and I'm going to just select that guy on the edge, right? That one. So I'm just looking to the edges, that one and this one. And I'm going to do mesh. I'm going to do face. I'm going to do vertex, new face from vertices. And there we are. So now let's do a face, inset faces, and just push. Boom. All right. And 0.1 is great. And then we're going to do an extrude again. 0.05. And one more of these windows. Boop. And now for the window color, it's going to be the same as the mirror. So I'm going to go to select, and I'm just going to click on all my windows here. And now go to material, find my window material, boom, and click assign. And awesome. And then all that's left is the stripe, of course, because it's a race car. So I'm going to Z, and let's zoom out a bit. So what we want now is to create that line for a stripe. I want to turn on vertex mode because I'm going to just use the knife tool, and I'm going to grab this vertex way down here and just pull on up. And remember, this ended in a vertex. That vertex should be even with the one in the back. So I'm going to click and hit enter to set that line. Okay. Let me go into select mode. We'll have to deal with this. That doesn't look like that cut right there, but that's fine. Let's go ahead now, and I'm going to select the parts. I'm going to hold shift and get as much as I can. No, I don't want that window. Yes, I would like that part. And I'm just holding shift, and nope, I don't want that whole thing. Let me make sure. It looks like it also gave me that as a bonus. All right, and then I'm gonna have a white stripe, and it's gonna be the color of the plate. So let me hit assign. That looks awesome. So let's just deal with this little back panel here. I'm gonna just do mesh, duplicate, and click right away. And then I'm just gonna shrink it down Let me look from overhead. So right now it's negative 0.271, and then I'm going to do a bit more, right, like that. And then let's go ahead and apply that plate material to it. And that looks great. And again, it's kind of up to you how and where you apply it. If you want to apply it to the full spoiler, if you need it going down the front, which I might do. And sun. Oh, I love this. Okay. Oh, you can kind of see how it matches the plate. Maybe I won't put it right here. Main. Regardless, ta-da! We have a fancy, awesome, low-poly sports car ready to go. So, if you want to know how to render this, a few suggestions. I always like to do a transparent rendering so I can use it anywhere. Let's go ahead and click on this. Let me get the light on here. Let me zoom out. Let's go into object mode. And, oh, we don't have a mirror yet, so that's fine. I need to click on my mirror. I forgot to, but make sure to hold shift and also click on the door handle. So mirror, shift, door handle, shift, then click on the car. I'm gonna hold shift and click on the vehicle and then go in and, oh, object, join. Now we'll have a mirror on both sides, okay? And light, click, pull up, over. We're gonna want this to be a sun, probably power 6-ish, maybe 8. I'm not gonna deal with shadows right now. Let's say where our camera's at. Okay, and so now I'm gonna do a view, sidebar, view, lock to camera, and I'm just gonna turn this, okay, and pull up. And maybe I even want another light. So let me grab this guy. I'm gonna do an object duplicate and just pull and drop. Right, so yeah, 0 will say 6 and 0. And then I'm gonna change up where the light's pointing. Right towards the car is what I'm thinking, yep. And then let's move this camera a bit more. Perfect. I'm liking that a lot. So now I can just render and click render image and boom. Hopefully you have an awesome sports car too. Again, if you like this, definitely check out my other videos. I have some other cars on there, some other low poly cars. Make sure to hit like, make sure to hit subscribe. It gives me warm fuzzies. And yeah, if you made something cool, you should definitely tell me about it below. You should definitely comment below. So, ta-da!